Hello and welcome. My name is Stuart. I'm the founder and CEO of Waymaker. The fundamental challenge of all leaders is how to organise for growth. The challenge is clarity, so we all know why. The challenge is alignment, so we all know where we're going. And the challenge is focus, so we all know what matters most and what we need to do. When you open up Waymaker, you're going to land on the home screen. We're looking at the home screen of a demonstration company, a hypothetical company called Birkin Wheels Electric Vehicles. Okay, as leader, I'm looking at my homepage inside Waymaker. And what I'm looking at is the same for every user. On the left-hand side, I can see the modules and the apps contained within Waymaker. And over here in my main screen, I can see my goals and objectives. And as I scroll down, I'll see notifications and chats coming from the team, our X-score being tracked over time, and our latest diagnostic results telling us where we sit on our maturity curve, how we're positioned with alignment around skills and systems, the most important functions to focus on in our organisation today, that being sales and employee experience, and a high-level snapshot of each of the diagnostic outputs across our core areas of optimization. Okay, so what does it all mean? What am I looking at? Well, data comes in to Waymaker through the diagnostic. You see, to build great clarity and alignment, we need to listen to our team. We need to bring our team members into the conversation of what's happening on the front line and how can this best help us direct where we're going. It's from this that we get great situational awareness. So the diagnostic is a short diagnostic that each person takes. The minute you come onto the platform, you'll take it. There'll be a little diagnostic just up in the top right-hand corner here. It says Take Diagnostic. Everybody takes that to start, and then everybody takes that actually every quarter. And what it's doing, it'll take anywhere from 20, 25 minutes through to about a half an hour of your time to sit down and answer quite quickly a bunch of questions around how well the business is going. This data is invaluable. And it's from this data that we can quickly listen to many people out across your team. The data comes back and our algorithms organize it around the primary functions of the business. Clarity of vision, market, strategy, business model, customer experience, which is broken down into marketing, sales and service, and employee experience. It's this diagnostic data that helps us quickly see where growth opportunities are. We're going to jump into that in a minute. When we do see where those growth opportunities are, we're able to actually add items onto our strategic roadmap. And it's within the roadmap module that we can put new initiatives in, new goals and objectives in, prioritize them, commit them, and see how we deliver them. And any new goal that goes onto our strategic roadmap is an objective. So we use the standard methodology of OKRs to manage goals and objectives. That's a global, worldwide practice used by everybody from Intel and Google to not-for-profits like the RED organization. The OKR methodology is something that is well known, and if it's new to you, there's resources that we'll provide and resources across the internet on understanding OKRs. Most importantly, once we have data coming into the platform, we've got some really powerful dashboards that allow you to drill into data that's relevant to you, data that's relevant to the team on quarterly, annual, or of the minute basis. In order to collaborate, we have a channels module that allows anybody to collaborate and chat around any of the objectives and goals that are happening through the platform. Across the top right-hand side here, some of the administration fundamentals. You can jump into your settings and if you're the admin on your account, then you'll be able to jump in and manage users, add users, manage your billing, all the fundamentals of managing your business on the platform. The chat icon turns red when there's chats that you haven't read yet, and the notification icon tells you about something in your world on Waymaker that's been updated. And if that's red, then there's notifications to read. You can add an objective onto the backlog anytime. That moment you have a good idea and you want to collaborate, well, it's really easy. You just create an objective. And of course, your own personal profile. And as this fictional character, Pete, who's the CEO of this business, this is Pete's picture. So on the home page, we're looking at the objectives that this person, Pete, owns right now. And we can see via color code, green, that's on track, yellow, that's getting close to being on track, and red and orange that obviously need attention. The percentage of each objective is the percentage to completion. The key results, which are the hows to lead to the what of that objective outcome, are tracked here in the key result chart. And you can mouse over those and see what the key result is and see progress. And the progress activity chart shows every time there's an update to a key result within that objective, it's marked, it's updated, and you can see the progress of that objective over time. These objectives within Waymaker, most of them are quarterly, but some of them are multi-quarter, being half-year, annual, or multi-year. These are the building blocks, these objectives, that build your roadmap, and that's the ideas that come from the diagnostic that you create objectives from. Okay, let's jump in and look at some of these key areas, being the diagnostic, the roadmap, and the OKR. Let me show you a few of the key insights and how we would use this as a user. So as Pete and his team have taken the diagnostic filters all of that information through the leadership and management framework we call Waymaker's Experience Curve. And the Experience Curve is simply just a representation of maturity and clarity. And you can come in and mouse over the stages, and it will put the organisation based on the level of clarity, alignment, and focus you have as a team. It'll benchmark your organisation on the Experience Curve. And we call that an X score. It's represented by a triangle. And in this example, Pete, leader of the Burke and Wills electric vehicles team, are at 66%, and they're early on in their calibration phase of growth, where it's really focused on alignment and growing teams, skills, and systems. It's really important to note that the experience curve is not a measure of profitability. It's not a measure of how well this company is doing on the balance sheet. Rather, it's a measure of maturity, and that maturity comes from clarity, alignment, and focus. So the ability of the Experience Curve to be a timeless benchmarking tool allows for organisations that grow up the Experience Curve, can come down sometimes with lack of clarity, or if they're adding new business lines, then the curve may completely start again. So the Experience Curve is simply a way we filter information, and on the Experience Curve, as you get to know the leadership and management framework, we talk about 7 questions. And the really simple way of waymaking is that every quarter you come together to ask and answer 7 questions. And when you do that, you're working your way around the leadership and management framework: clarity of vision, clarity of market, clarity of strategy, clarity of business model, clarity of customer experience, and employee experience. The fundamental belief is that as we build skills in people and empower them with systems, then organisations grow, become more mature, and are stronger, and therefore lead towards market leadership. So we can see our benchmarking, we call these an X score, on skills, systems, and the overall benchmark. You'll see that activities live on both sides of the Experience Curve. And it's the skills that live on the top side of the curve. So you could think about skills as everything that we need to know how to do as people. And systems live on the bottom side of the curve. And you could think of those as all the tools we need to leverage to do our work more effectively. So there's really three big insights coming off this diagnostic. The first is the X score, and the X score is at 81%. And that means we're actually at maturity. You can see quite a strong mix of green and gold. Now, average is at 81%. We're just nudging over into the maturity phase of the organisation. Our skills are strong and our systems are not as strong. And so what we can see is skills represented by the circle. Turn off systems, you can see the circle quite strong, 87%. Our systems, represented by the square, lower at 74%. And so if I was looking at this curve as leader, I'd be saying, okay, we should actually be investing in some areas here on the systems to better develop and embed vision across the organisation. Now, each of these activities in this example are best practice activities aligned to where those activities should be mature as the organisation grows. And so each activity gets its own maturity score. Not only is the organisation getting a maturity score for the business as a whole, for the core function, but now for the activities that build that function. And this is where we can quickly see areas and opportunities for growth. So in this example set of data, if I'm Pete, the leader of this business, I can see that we've got a problem because these activities are traffic lights. We've got a problem. Customer centricity has swayed. We're now in that red and orange zone, and it's weaker than all the other activities on our vision curve. And so as a user, I can see that we've got a problem with customer centricity around our vision and vision messaging. And so the natural thing to do is to go, oh, we should fix that. That would help us. And so we're going to add an objective. And we're going to write an objective up here. And by the way, it's just pressing the little plus button that created the objective. Develop customer centricity research to understand why our customers love our electric vehicles. Now, I made that stuff up on the spot. I could probably think of a better objective, but right now, that's all that matters. I just want to throw an idea up in, and where that goes is actually as an objective onto our roadmap. Don't worry, it doesn't go live. It actually sits in backlog. Because what we're answering is the first question of the 7 questions, our leadership and management growth framework. And the first question is, what is our vision? Is it driven by our purpose, and what's holding us back? And actually what we can see what's holding us back as a team is customer centricity. So we think there's a little bit of work to do there. So we can move through the diagnostic. And as we move through the diagnostic, we're moving through these core functions of the business. So our next core function is market, clarity of customer, ideal customer, clarity of market, clarity of competitive advantages. And we can see here that our X score has dropped a little bit. We can see a different mix of maturity across these activities. And we can see that actually there's a theme emerging. Customer clarity is weak. Now, what I can also see is this growth mindset. And the growth mindset talks to, obviously, the mindset, but of the worldview of the organisation, and it really speaks to how we see ourselves, how we operating. And so you can click on the mindset and read a description of the mindset that your organisation as a whole is exhibiting around this function of market, understanding who we serve as a business. And so this is helpful because sometimes understanding our mindset is one of the key barriers to actually shifting our thinking and thinking differently about a different part of our organisation. So this growth mindset here is a developing organiser. You can jump in and take your diagnostic and read the explanation. And there's some recommendations here. And At the moment, as a developing organizer, we're in the orange zone, as you can see from the traffic light system. We want to get that up into yellows and golds. And so as the recommendation here is team and individual, we don't yet have all the skills to move forward. So we shouldn't see mistakes as failures, but we should see them as learning moments. And we should be looking to upskill and perhaps get some external skills to bring into the organisation. But the most powerful things about this diagnostic is, okay, where are the opportunities for growth? How are we benchmarking where we're at? And how are we thinking about this function? And how should we perceive and change some of those beliefs? So you can move through the diagnostic, you can jump into different areas, and as you'd be moving through this diagnostic, seeing the insights and the data as a team, you will see different levels of maturity and different activities. We've just jumped into the marketing experience curve. And as you can see here, one of the items that really stands out, and the color coding helps this, is role definition. And I can mouse over that and say, okay, what the business is telling Waymaker is that as an organisation, and we can see this definition up here, as an organisation, we've clarified the marketing team structure, the roles within it, and communicate this regularly to relevant stakeholders in and out of the team. And so that activity being weak tells me that, okay, we've got some work to do in role definition and ensuring that the right people are in the right roles and those people around them know that. That's clearly going to help with performance. If I'm a marketer or a salesperson or a manager looking at this curve, is I'd jump up and raise an objective. And I'd put a new objective into our backlog for discussion around develop strong team structure for the marketing team. I'm just going to hit save. I could put some more info in the description if I wanted to, but I'll just hit save. And that's it. In just a few seconds, I've identified a growth opportunity and I've put that goal as an objective on our backlog roadmap for discussion. How easy is that? So you can move all the way through the diagnostics, and each of the diagnostic addresses the first 6 questions of the leadership and management growth framework. The 7th question is addressed on our roadmap. And the 7th question is all about what 1, 2, or 3 things are going to shift the needle as an organisation, shift the needle for us as an organisation. You can see here that I've dropped in a couple of goals and objectives, and I'm looking in our roadmap on the prioritisation snapshot here. And as 10, 20, 30 plus people start taking the diagnostic and dropping new ideas in, everybody has the power to come in, and we all know how to like something or heart something or promote something thanks to social media. And this is really where the social engagement kicks into gear across your team. Because I can come in here and I can drop a vote in. I can go, actually, that customer centricity issue, I really believe in that. We should be doing something about it. And I'm going to give it a vote. And you can see now that developing customer centricity research has just been upvoted 1 and now sitting on our backlog. Why is that helpful? Well, as if I'm Pete, the CEO of this business, when I pull my management team together every quarter and we sit down and we answer that question, what 1, 2, or 3 things matter, what should we be focusing on, to see what the team think, to see that upflowing into our range of view to work out what matters most. Wow, we can turn whole day strategic retreats into shorter, sharper, more effective, more powerful decision-making processes. That's unbelievably powerful. It's remarkable for your team. So when you're answering question 7 of the 7 questions, you're answering what 1, 2, or 3 things will shift the needle on our business if delivered in the next quarter or half. So when you come to commit those, you can view prioritization, but most importantly, you can jump into your strategic planner, which is inside the roadmap app. And it's within the strategic planner that we see all the objectives as cards on this classic Kanban view, all the items we've raised in our ideation sitting here in backlog. We can see items that we've committed to for a next quarter or half. We can see items that are in progress, and we can see items that are complete. And what we can most importantly see now is a visual picture of our strategic master plan unfolding. And this is super powerful because this gives us a picture of A, what's being worked on across the whole team, and B, progress to reaching success. And the blue represents the percentage complete of that goal. Now, what's powerful is we can scan over time and see some of our long-term goals and percentage complete, and they will cascade down and nest down. But what's super powerful about this visual roadmap is that it's not just the strategic plan at the top level of the organisation, but it's the collection of strategic plans for every role, every team, every user, and all functions across the leadership and management framework. So if we've got a sales strategy, then we can quickly look at the team, jump into sales, and look at the sales strategic plan. We'll see all the items on backlog, we'll see all the ones in progress, we'll see our percentage completed too. This is the fastest way to interact with your strategic planning anywhere. So what have we looked at so far? We've looked at the diagnostic and how within 20 to 30 minutes, your whole team is creating data sets that are superbly powerful at revealing growth opportunities. As you've scanned through those growth opportunities, you've had good ideas and you've turned them into objectives. They've turned into these backlog items and they sit on your roadmap. When your leadership and management teams come together, they commit, and when they commit, they move them into committed quarters for the next quarter or future, and as those quarters kick into gear, they become in progress. And as they become in progress, you can see the progress achieved on your master plan. What adds more value to this dynamic, interactive visual planning is the fact that once you've committed those 1, 2, or 3 things at that business level, all other teams can now go ahead and create their own OKRs, objectives, goals, around what matters most for the business. So we started off today talking about, wow, how do we as leaders address this fundamental challenge of organising for growth? How can we build clarity? How can we build alignment? And how can we build focus? You can see right now that we're building clarity through the diagnostic. We're building alignment through road mapping, and we're building focus through OKRs. So as your teams focus on business as usual goals, but aligning those business as usual goals into the things that matter most each quarter and half, you're harnessing and coordinating and organising all of the human and system resource capital to delivering those outcomes. You can jump into the OKR module. You'll see your own OKRs, you'll see your team's OKRs, and any OKRs you're collaborating on. Any user can invite any other user into one of their objectives to collaborate. The most important thing is that if you own an objective, your manager can see it and you can see it, the detail of it. Everybody else can see the high level, but you might want to bring another team member in. Great, then you'd add them as a collaborator. As you're executing and delivering, once again, everything's color-coded. Green, good, red, bad. Clearly things need work. And you can quickly see all the objectives and key results and how they're tracking just at a quick glance, simply by opening them, looking at the color code, seeing the percentage, and you can actually see when items were updated. What's powerful is you can edit from this screen. So we could jump in and edit a key result. We could chat on the key result, simply leave a comment, and we can remove or delete if no longer relevant. Now, managing and leading teams, managing the systems and leading people for our teams becomes so much more effective when we can filter all of this data into easily readable dashboards and charts. Now, everybody can see their quarterly dashboard, which renders out the most important objectives for their outcomes and easily shows where they're currently tracking on this quarter. They can easily read their annual objectives to see where they're currently tracking, progress to date, and what might need to happen downstream. They can see all of business, and they can use my favourite, personal favourite, the Explore dashboard, which actually shows all OKRs, and so objectives and key results, and allows you to filter by role, team, user, function. So this is immensely powerful. If you're running a management meeting, simply filter to the management team. If you're running a sales team meeting, simply filter to the sales team. I think you get the picture. You can cut down your meeting time immensely by quickly seeing the items that need discussion and the items that are on track and don't need discussion. Okay, so what have we done? We've jumped through and we've talked about the diagnostic. How do we identify and develop opportunities from smart algorithms, crunching the data coming from our team? We can turn those ideas into goals and objectives sitting on the roadmap. We can see those goals and managing those goals quarter by quarter here in our OKR engine. And we can interact with that data in powerful, beautiful visual dashboards. We can also jump in and, much like Slack or a Teams environment, we can actually jump in and collaborate simply by mentioning any of our team members to communicate, collaborate, link a file, and work together on delivering our outcomes. I want to thank you for watching this demo. It's really easy to get started. Just take a free trial off waymaker.io. Thank you, and we look forward to helping you become a Waymaker.